Get your coffee, hear the roar. Morning hits like a slam door. Bright lights flashing, can't ignore. News served raw, leave you wanting more. Tyler Today, voice of the street. Lies and truth, they can't compete. Frontline stories, fever beat. An echo that can't be beat. Clock is ticking, headlines flow. Broken voices, stories grow. Echo chambers overflow. Answers buried in the overthrow. Tyler Today, voice of the street. Lies and truth, they can't compete. Frontline stories, fever beat. An echo that can't be beat. Spin it fast before it burns. Every twist a lesson learned. Ashes fall as tables turn. The system cracks, but we never yearn. Tyler Today, voice of the street. Lies and truth, they can't compete. Frontline stories, fever beat. An echo that can't be beat. Can't be beat.
I gave you guys the whole AI song because I am tired today. But we also have a bunch of news to talk about. I got asked in the chat by Eternal Spartan. Thanks for stopping in, Eternal Spartan. He asked me if I sleep, and the answer is sometimes. It just depends. I tend to not sleep if I end up on the front page of Rumble Gaming. Typically, when that happens, I like to stay up and enjoy my time gaming with a bunch of different people. But today I'm joined by a few people. One of them is busy, so I will wait to introduce them. But I will bring up the other person in the meantime. I'm joined, of course, for TJ Tuesday. Hello, TJ.
TJ Tuesdays, let's go.
TJ Tuesdays. How you doing on this Tuesday, TJ?
Quite a bit of alliteration there, huh? Yeah, no, I'm doing pretty good. Just kind of getting my day going. Gonna get the dog out after this is all over, but you, sir, an 8-hour gaming stream followed by doubling back to get the news stream going.
I'm not even tired. I swear, I'm not even.
You're an animal.
Okay, so I streamed for 8 hours, 8 minutes, and 40 seconds last night, starting at 11 p.m.
Dude, I can't wait for my last 8-hour gaming session.
I mean, see, that's why I want to do my game streams and all these streams and stuff, because I just naturally play games for a while and I like talking. So this is like perfect for me. That's why I like doing this. And I got 12 new followers last night, dude. I got followed by the official Rumble Gaming account.
Damn.
So that was pretty cool. So did Melted, because he got on the trending page the other day too, day before me. So
making moves on the come up.
Yeah, hey, like I was telling you before the show, there's just nobody that streams that late into the night, so you can just kind of pick up people, I guess,
All those night owls.
Well, yeah, I think most of them were sleeping because I had like 400 people watching at one point, but there was like hardly anyone in the chat, if anybody at all.
Gotcha.
So I think a lot of them were either asleep, didn't want to chat, or may have been bots. Even I don't know, to be honest. But I was the number one in the gaming category for like an hour or two straight.
Let's go.
So that was pretty cool. They're on their TV. Oh, okay. So it's not bots. That makes sense. That actually does make a lot of sense. Rumble TV, but they're not, so they can't chat.
I feel like a lot of times gamers will like just have a gaming stream playing as almost background sound while they're doing their own gaming. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's definitely possible. But TVs make a lot of sense too. So like background noise, people not chatting, they just want that background noise. I know I like having the background noise. And then people that are just watching from their TVs. That I had not thought about that.
What game were you playing again?
Last night I played 3 different games. I played Repo for a little while with Joey and a few other people. And then I played Helldivers for a while, and then Melted joined in on the Helldivers after I was on the trending for a little while. I wanted someone to go back and forth with because I was starting to get tired.
Cool.
So he hopped in there. He started streaming too. And then him and I ended it with a mission on Deep Rock Galactic. So that was fun.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, so that was really cool. So our other guest is still busy. Let's talk about. I want to talk about the Elon stuff because apparently everybody wants to talk about it. So let me stop screen share and go over here. It should keep our guest down because he doesn't have his camera on, but we'll see. So let's see. Presentation. There we go. All right. So Elon Musk, he tweeted out just a little bit ago. He said, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it." So I have a big rant I can go on, but I'll let you go first, TJ.
I mean, my initial thought on the big beautiful bill itself was just that, like, we know it's the same sort of omnibus trash, and we know that like there's a lot of shit in it that we probably don't want, but at the same time, I kind of get it. You know, it goes back to what we were saying quite a bit recently that like I use the stones to destroy the stones or whatever, and I don't know. I wish we could have done something different, but I don't know if it would kind of be possible to. But I recognize that it is pork-filled trash.
Can I go on my rant?
Yeah, hit me with it.
Okay, so, I mean, I'm glad Elon's coming out with this, right? But I don't know why anyone, like, again, this is another thing that, like, why are we talking about this? Because this is another thing, right? We talked about this back during Christmas. We have this big, huge omnibus that all these different politicians cram a bunch of garbage into. Spending gets wasted, all this other stuff. Laws get passed, like they're talking about a few different laws right now that maybe I could pull up. But even besides all of that, just the sheer fact that we're still not doing individual bills. That's all I care about. Why are we not doing individual spending bills? Why is it still this massive, big fat stack of papers that like you can just jam crap into? And it's like, oh, let's change laws in a spending bill. So yeah, cool. Elon Musk is coming out against it. The only reason it's a surprise is because he's technically supposed to be on the Trump team and he's supposed to be backing Trump. And Trump is backing this bill, and I think it's actually terrible. I think this is an L for Donald Trump. This is a loss. You're again passing a massive spending bill that's gonna not be good for the country when we should be focusing on individual spending bills for individual issues, just like everything else that gets passed through Congress. Make them do their jobs. Make them do what they're voted for. Make them sit there and talk about one piece of legislation, one spending bill, and vote and pass that, and then move on to the next thing. Why are we passing this big fat thing that they don't read?
Yeah, I agree with you, but you know, yesterday we were talking about process and how long it takes to do basically anything for the government. I feel like to shift things to single issue spending packages or whatever would take like an overhaul of the system almost, and
it would slow things down.
Yeah, well, not just slowing things down, but to make that the law of the land, basically, to make that the way that we do things from here on out, like wouldn't that require an act of Congress or something to put forth?
I think the majority leader, whoever's like head of the House, like Mike Johnson, if he can change the rules, they can vote to change the rules.
Now,
It's based on congressional rules. Like you might be able to pass a law to like solidify it, but you can make it a congressional rule that you just have single issue bills.
yeah, can the speaker choose if they're going to bring?
Hello, Matt Stork. Would you like to weigh in on this?
Well, I just had this quick question, and I think you're muted, Matt Stork.
Stork has muted.
But
screw you guys.
is it possible for the speaker just to say that is not a single issue bill, so I'm not going to bring it to a vote? Is that a possibility?
I thought about, well, go ahead. It would be possible if that was the rules of the House and the Senate. That would actually be capable, but you'd have to pass it as a rule in the House or Senate for it to be a thing. And so what you're actually dealing with is a procedural issue, not necessarily a rule issue. And there's a whole thing about that. And
but it's not a power he already has.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, he can refuse to bring it to a vote, but they can still sort of work ways around that. Okay. So yes, but not really is my answer to that question. But I actually spent some time thinking about this because somebody on the after show last night brought it up, and I thought about a good way to think about this. You're up in Oregon, okay? Mm-hmm. And let's say that your state really needs a nuclear reactor because it probably doesn't have one. So let's say it needs a nuclear reactor, and it needs a House bill to get a nuclear reactor built, and you need votes to get it to pass. And so now let's say for Texas, would like I would like funding for UAVs to monitor the border. Okay, this isn't even really crazy. These are actual, realistically like things, right? And so you want a single issue bill, and you want those single issues to only be. So we need two bills. We need 101 to be for the nuclear reactor, and we need 102 to be for my border drone. And you get your nuclear reactor passed, but the people in your state. They don't really like the border control thing. So your bill passes, and then my bill doesn't pass because your guys don't vote for it. So now I have just voted for the thing you wanted, and I fucked myself.
How often does that happen?
Would concession negotiations take place between the people? Like, I will give you this vote for your reactor, but you have to give me your vote for the. I feel like
the reason that we don't do single issue bills anymore, because they used to happen back in the day. Like we realistically used to pass bills that were single issue bills, was because of this. It was because people broke their promises.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Oh, you vote for mine, I'll vote for yours," and then they'd vote for theirs, and then when theirs came around, and be like, "Oh yeah, psych, we already passed mine."
Yeah, so I realistically gave this some thought, and I'm just like, it ain't going to happen. And then you get into the issue with, like, which bill do you vote for first?
I'll say, well, damned if you do, damned if you don't then.
Well, I think single-issue bills are fine as long as we do multiple bills per vote. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
It does make sense, but it's counterintuitive. Like it
no. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. What you could do is you could do an omnibus that is separated by like separate bills, separate chapters.
You could have one voting issue kind of thing that has 6 bills in it, and then each of those bills is
a voting package.
One vote. Yeah, a
instead
voting
of an
package.
Omnibus.
It's not an omnibus; it's a voting package.
That just sounds like an omnibus with 4 steps.
Well, I mean, it kind of is.
It's an alternative.
At the same time, it's an alternative because you could have senators be like, "I will vote for Bill 1, 2, and 3, but I'm not going to vote for 4 And so then we drop bills from this omnibus instead of this giant 10,000 page
all or nothing kind of thing.
Yeah, you could have individual bills, and then you could have people being like, okay, well, I'm going to vote for these, but I'm not going to vote for these. And so then you have kind of a more negotiative system for it kind of thing. And that ultimately reaches a minimalist sort of thing, which I think most people are wanting for the omnibus to be deconstructed into a single issue vote. Anyways, I swear everyone wants to call me right now, Tyler. It's
I was gonna say, do you have to go again?
No, my boss picked up that call. It's not a work call. My sister's
Okay.
the one who called a second ago, which is why I was like, no, I'm taking that call.
Oh, okay. Do you guys have final thoughts on this topic? If not, we can move on to Mad Stork had a topic he wanted to talk about.
I'll just say respect to Elon for coming out and like saying what he actually believes.
Yeah.
Not cowering behind, loyalism.
I
or
agree.
whatever.
Yeah, what it is that he's coming out and speaking about, like most people wouldn't do that, so I'm totally fine with that.
I mean, that's what I said. Like most people, that's the only reason it's news is because most people would expect someone in Elon's position to continue to back Trump and not say anything. But he's standing on his principles on this at least.
Yeah,
So.
and maybe this is some sort of theater to make us just think this.
Damn, you got Joey immediately roasting TJ.
No way, dude. It's a black tank top. It's not a wife beater. Come on now.
I know. Come on, Joey. He's not you. We've seen you with your wife beater.
I need to get a do-rag soon, don't I?
Oh yeah. There you go. He just sees himself in you. That's the.
Gotta try and be the next Joey.
There you go. Anyway,
Real question: if Joey sees himself in Tyler, does that automatically make him a? Never mind. We can
What?
different topic.
whoa. Excuse me.
That's an outworld conversation.
That's not. No, that's a nightcap.
That's
what-
definitely a nightcap conversation. Anyhow, so moving on.
So, Stork, I feel like I should have given you the power to control the article here because you're the one who's going to be doing the majority of the talking here.
No, we don't have to. Is this the last link that I sent you and told you we should do first?
This is the one about the South Korean president.
Yeah, but I told you to do the last link first, so I don't know
What?
if that's. Yeah. You did the last link first, so you're good. Okay.
Oh,
So anyhow,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was out of order. I apologize.
I
So
see.
this
I
guy-
see, yes.
This guy won the South Korean presidency. He's the first conservative guy to win the presidency and I'm trying to find the screen for this again. Oh, okay. So there we go. He's the first Democrat to win, which is they keep always changing their political names. Like they go like every 2 elections, they basically rename their parties. And so they're not the same party,
Sure.
but it's everybody who's from that party is in the new party. And so this guy, I think, is from one of the older parties and carried over. And so the Democrats in the South Korean, they are isolationist, but they are pro reunification. So they want North and South Korea to come back together and buddy. And the last time that one of them was in power, they built a railway between North and South Korea. And then George Bush came in and gave it his blessing and everything, and it was a beautiful thing. And then it shut down in 2006 or 7. I forget what year it
assuming
was.
for very good reasons.
And then there was an industrial zone that was also built during this time, and it was kind of good, and everybody was happy with it. But then before COVID even they shut it down. Because North Korea was talking crazy. It was back when Kim Jong-un started talking. Anyhow, this guy is the first Democrat president to be there with Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un.
Jong-un. So this will be the first time they have a reunification talk between them in this sort of thing. It'll be fascinating to watch. But keep in mind that they have arrested two of the last 3 presidents, 2 of which were acting presidents. And in South Korea's history, they have arrested the last 4 or 5 actually elected presidents.
Wow.
I didn't report on any of it, but I did see that there was a lot of crazy stuff going on over there. Why were the presidents arrested?
Do you want to go back to the woman, which is a crazy story involving golfing and a dog? I'm not joking. Or do you want to go to the most recent things?
I heard a
Well, you're
little
about
bit
to-
about the more recent one. I guess you should start with the oldest one first.
Oh fuck! I don't want to. I'm cussing a lot. I'm sorry. I don't want to go too far back because,
Is it going to derail a little bit?
man, it would take like an hour, and Lord knows I don't have that much time because I got to read soon.
Is that the next deep dive? Are we not doing Epstein next?
Yeah, if you want to do a deep dive on Moon Jae-in and the fairies,
I know there's a lot.
and the dog sitting with the guy who went to go play screen golf, and then his girlfriend who was married to another guy came back, flipped out, and then caused a thing. But he was actually a fashion designer, but was involved in the fashion design for the president, and then he ended up going and testifying in front of Congress. It brought the entire presidency down, and then there was a horse writer who was in Germany, who was actually the Minister of Cultural's daughter, but we don't know if it's her daughter, but her husband was actually the one having an affair, allegedly, with the president, who never actually got married, and then we have a religious cult involved.
This
Wow.
is definitely a rabbit hole. This is definitely a deep dive.
Let's not go back that far. So the president who got arrested basically got arrested because a news media outlet came out and talked bad about his wife. And he declared a national lockdown on all media and a whole bunch of other things. He basically declared martial law so that
That's
he
valid.
could go arrest the news organization who said bad things about his wife.
Yeah, that's valid.
Right.
That's valid.
And so they flipped out. They removed him from power. The guy who took charge was basically one of his like underlings kind of guys. It's weird how presidential succession in Korea works. Let's not get too far into it. Anyhow, the guy that was too close to being like him and didn't repeal his national emergency thing immediately was basically taken out or removed from office. Not taken out, but removed from office. And then a third guy was basically put in. But all of this was taking place with like, can we even do any of this? Is any of this legal? And then the president at the time, who was the second guy, I think, who was in charge, was in office when they were basically the Korean FBI went and raided the house to get the president out to like arrest him. But he like refused to leave. And so like there were some back channel deals made, and he basically snuck out the back entrance because there were a bunch of protesters out the front. And then he like surrendered himself to police officers. This is all really what happened. You can Google it.
Sounds like a movie.
Most Korean politics are, and we didn't even get into like the ferry that sank with the woman president who was with everything. Anyway,
Do you think that this guy's going to get arrested?
he's. Who knows what it is that he's going to do that's
Third time's
illegal?
the charm.
We don't know what it is this guy is going to do that's illegal, but in 5 years, he will probably have some sort of a conviction against him.
Wow.
Congratulations.
It's intense.
And why is this going on in South Korea?
Because
are their politics just that messed up? Like, are they in like a cold civil war? Or
I don't even know where to. Again, we'll have to do a deep dive on this. But yes, South Korea is a little messed up politically. They're just they're really messed up politically. And all
what
of
happened
this
to my camera?
What's that?
What happened to my camera? Hang on 1 second.
Oh.
Refresh.
Oh, I get first share.
No.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
first share.
First share. Let's go. Always got to hype it up. It doesn't happen very often.
Brian.
Nope, they've taken over.
Yep, we have.
Right.
Yep.
You know what, TJ? You can. It's TJ Tuesday. You could have first share.
Hey,
That's
There
fine.
you go. You're in
Okay.
California anyways, so it's important for you to be the bottom bitch. Anyhow,
He's in Oregon.
He's talking about you, Tyler.
Oregon needs more shit on it.
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much.
dude.
But yeah, that is the general gist of this. It's actually a pretty big deal that he won. So when they call it a political shift, it is quite a political shift. They're going through all kinds of things like a housing crisis bubble. Interest rates are going wild from all the things that it was happening in the United States. Their economy is so tightly linked with ours that we couldn't have gone through everything we just went through without them feeling it way more. And then they also have something called the Korean discount, which is every fall and spring, North Korea does something crazy and their stocks drop by 5%.
Wow.
This is not a joke.
Do you think that this election is going to be beneficial for South Korea, and do you think it's going to be beneficial for the world as a whole?
I think it will be beneficial for Korea in the long run to have a Democrat president so that they don't have to keep saying that it's the conservatives who are crazy, which, by the way, it's the Conservative Party there that is actually internationalist, and it's the Democratic Party, which is isolationist. So this will help them develop their own internal economy more. By the way, like any good Democrat, even though they're isolationist, they still believe that it's okay for their children to go internationally and study. So the hypocrite thing is still there.
Right.
If you go to the other links that I sent to you, I think it was just one other. Oh, two others. The BBC, the snap election, all of that stuff. Wikipedia. The Wikipedia is actually probably not too bad on this guy. It's essentially saying he was a poor guy, came up through the ranks, came up from the underground, being a good guy, and this really is kind of a big deal for them. He really apparently did actually grow up fairly poor, and it is going to be interesting to see how this basically advances in the Asian sphere of things, because it's also the Democrats who are also generally more open to Japan, so it could make them more of a trading bloc as well as other things. So I'm actually kind of excited to see what happens.
Interesting.
So,
do you want me to? Was there anything in this article in particular you want me to pull up, or do you want me to go to another article?
oh, I was saying you could pull up the. Oh, sorry, you gave me the screen share thing, and then I didn't even use it.
Oh yeah, well yeah,
Son
you have the power.
Biscuit eater. Okay, yeah. So this guy.
Wearing a mask in his profile picture.
Of course.
Yeah, well, you have to understand that the liberals over there are still kind of similar to some of our liberals.
Sure.
They actually look at the Democrat Party in the United States.
Well,
as
isn't that
their
like normal
idols.
for Asians
Gotcha.
even before COVID though?
It's common whenever they feel sick to wear a mask, which is actually good. Like it's good if you feel sick, wear a mask.
No.
Whatever. Anyhow, they are actually kind of good in that whole thing. He goes back into politics with some of this, but when you get into where was the one of his childhood? Growing up, he really actually was apparently a poor kid who grew up in this. He also comes from an area in Korea, and that's my wife messaging me, so I have to leave soon. He actually comes from Gyeonggi province, or where he is representing, and I believe the area that he actually presides over is actually, I'm not 100% sure on this, I would have to check maps and stuff, but I believe that he actually is the representative of where Samsung's major factories are. So this guy is actually very connected with Samsung Electronics, which is weird. If I'm correct, it means that he's connected to Samsung Electronics, which means that he likely is in bed with the Chaebols as well. So economically, he's got some backing there. But you can see right here the People Power Party, which is the Gukmin which is what they call that and everything. But he is, again, connected to Moon Jae-in as well as some other things. So, again, I'm just interested in what this means in terms of a geopolitical standpoint. Yeah. They are generally less military friendly to the United States when they're in power. So things like THAAD and the Golden Dome missile defense system and NATO's involvement and everything like that is a little bit more in question now that this political party is in power in South Korea, because this is one of our two major allies in Asia for military defense. the other one being South Korea.
Interesting.
I mean, is it even possible for them to have peace though? Like to reunify? Is that even a possibility?
I mean, not without North Korea basically crashing. No.
Because I mean, I was talking about a story. What was it yesterday? We were talking about how North Korea censors their phones. Like they have a nickname for boyfriends over there. I forget exactly how you say it, but
Comrade. It auto corrects it to comrade.
Autocorrect to comrade. Yeah. So like those people are insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are.
Okay. Anyway, do you have to go? Peace
I
out?
do have to leave. I feel bad because there was like one or two other stories that I wanted to talk about, and so I'm sorry that I wasn't here sooner.
It's okay. I could have started sooner, but like I said, I was tired today. So
Well, you know. Oh, can you bring up the Social Security checks, which is the last one that I linked?
you have the power too. I will. Let me see. The last one.
Fine, share this tab instead.
The Philadelphia
go.
one. Wait.
Yeah, I got it. I pulled it up.
Okay. See.
Social
faster.
Security checks may be smaller starting in June for some as student loan garnishments begin. These are essentially outstanding student loans from elderly people who are now collecting Social Security and have outstanding student loans. And so they're essentially going to be garnishing their wages from their Social Security checks to pay the student loans.
That's harsh.
Yeah, you were talking about it before we went live, and I don't agree with that. If they've made it to the point where they're in their retirement and they're living off Social Security and they still have student loans, yeah, I'm sorry that.
What you don't understand is some of these people went and got doctorates in their 50s. Some of these people went and got doctorates in their 30s and 40s, and so they're just still paying off their student loans. What is also the case is that some of these people went to 2 semesters when they were freshmen, and they had a $10,000 student loan that they could never really pay back because they dropped out of college and couldn't get a job. And then it has been going at somewhere between 4 and 12% for 40 years, and they've never paid it back.
Yeah, I think the interest is devastating to everybody.
I mean, I agree with what Tim has said. Pay back what they borrowed, but interest, I just cancel it. Just cancel the interest.
Well, I think when you get into the part about garnishment, I think it should be capped at the amount of loans. I've actually given this a lot of thought too, because I used to work in a system to kind of help people with loans, especially student loans. And that system, I don't know who Joey is, though. This weird guy just showed up in here. But anyhow, I've worked with it before. I think student loans should be capped at 2 times the original principal.
No cap.
No cap. But cap.
Cap for
But I think they should be like capped at their
All future loans, yes.
Well, but here's the thing. Those inner city kids who are going to be the first person to go to college and their entire family and were basically hyped up and glazed by the entire counseling staff at their local high school. And yes, I did just use that because he used cap. They were really hyped up and everything, and they had no education to go to college, and they barely passed algebra, but they were so high in their school because their school sucked so much. And they got a D in algebra, but they were still in the top 10%. So then they went to university, and they got a student loan. So, you know, even though they come from a poor family, everything's going to be okay. And then they realized they're too fucking stupid to be in university. So they had to drop out. And now they've got $12,000 in student loans at a 6% interest rate starting when they were 18.
And they've just ignored it.
Yeah. That's realistically what we're going to be looking at more over in the coming years.
What are your thoughts on this then? Do you think it's fine to garnish their Social Security?
I think they should be garnished to the amount of the principal and no interest.
So like what percentage of their Social Security should be taken? Like no more than what?
10%.
No more than 10%. I don't know. I know the margins for a lot of people that live off Social Security. That's 10% would really hurt.
Yeah, probably would be, but we probably should have dealt with this problem and stopped letting universities make so much fucking money.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of issues like that in the country that have gone on for way too long, and it's gonna really friggin' hurt when that correction comes. So, I don't know. Maybe this is just one of those things that has to happen.
Yep.
I feel like Joey. This is one of those things Joey could go off on though. Like, I don't know, Joey. How do you feel about the government garnishing Social Security checks of people that have outstanding student loan?
Can you use garnish in a sentence?
Yes, we were adding some
Food topping?
garnish to that fruit salad you were tossing last night.
Oh, well then, sir.
I
This
was,
is
I was
not
going
my
to use a
cap.
steak reference, some garnish on steak, but yeah, if you want to garnish the fruit salad, by all means.
This isn't
I just-
helping.
Okay.
You don't know what that word is,
TJ,
Joey?
I don't know. Like, I know what the word is. Like, I've heard it used before, but like in this instance, I'm trying
Take
to
money.
take
Force
it,
Forcibly
mean,
take
it means
money.
to take money.
Right.
It,
That's
to
right.
take
Boy,
money
it-
away from it.
Okay, so
Forcibly take
it-
money out of Social Security for paying off student loan.
That depends on how the student loan was given, in my opinion, because I think student loans are in nature, like I think the banking system, I think they're predatory in nature.
Yeah, and which is what I was talking about earlier. I will say before I go that the 62-year-olds, there's a
He's
chance
always
that a
going.
lot of these loans are actually default private loans or back under the original public loan system, which is different from what student loans are today. So they may be being garnished for different type of student loans than we would think of a student loan today. So be careful before you talk about them, because again, these people are 62. So that means they had student loans 40 years ago, which means you have to figure out 30 years ago, 30 to 40 years ago is when their student loans were taken out. So the majority of them, you probably need to go back and figure out what kind of loans they even have, because they weren't government backed.
That's a fair point.
All right. Well,
So there you go. I got to go. Anyhow,
thank you for joining us, Mad Stork. Always
Yeah,
a
yeah.
pleasure.
TJ's on top of Tyler. I'm on top of Joey. I like this.
I mean, I can.
What did you say? He just said, I like this.
There you go. We just got rotated. I don't know. I think you and TJ go better together, right there, like that.
Get outta
Yeah,
here.
that's better. There we go.
Yeah, it's Joey's here, so make sure you toss the salad
rotated.
feverishly. Anyhow,
It's like a
This is
college
not
orgy
nightcap.
challenge.
Damn it.
have a good time. Bye.
Went off
We're
the
moving
rails.
on.
PG,
We're
we don't
moving
know
on
if anyone's
to-
listening.
We're moving on to the big story of the episode today.
The big beautiful story.
The big beautiful. No, we already talked about the big beautiful bill. If you want to comment on it,
I'll
unless
give
you
my
want to save it
comments
for
on
your
Our
show.
World Live in whatever
Okay.
minutes, however
That's
minutes.
fair. We got like 25.
Oh,
minutes
everything's
before
all
your show.
relative, Tyler.
Well, I mean,
Especially
it's
in
fine. I don't
Alabama,
have to
a lot of
rehash my
things are-
thoughts.
Especially in Alabama, a lot of things are all relative.
Alabama? What?
It's an incest
What are we
joke.
talking about? Oh, is that you know about? What do you know about that, Joey?
We make fun of Alabamians for being incestual beings all the time.
Stereotype.
So
Yes.
anyway, this is a really short article. I'll just read it because it's
Told you.
chock full of important information. Because Joey and I were talking about this story in the DMs a little bit. Joey, you were misinformed. It wasn't our intelligence agencies that weren't communicating with Trump. It was Ukraine and their intelligence agencies.
Yeah. That's what I meant. But like, we also figured out that NATO helped facilitate some of these attacks, right?
I believe so. But here, let's read.
NATO wasn't communicating to the United States, which is a cataclysmic problem. That's the word of the week, cataclysmic.
So Ukraine this weekend struck one of its most devastating blows in its grinding war against Russia's invading army, using smuggled drones to target bombers on air bases deep inside Russian territory. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky quickly took credit for what he called Operation Spiderweb, a contrast with many of Ukraine's attacks inside Russia. He said 117 drones were used in an attack on Sunday, each with its own operator back in Ukraine. Wow. Zelensky said its drone attack took out nearly a third of Moscow's fleet of bomber aircraft, which he has rained terror on his country for more than 3 years. Ukraine's security services said 41 Russian aircraft were destroyed or damaged. Russian military bloggers put the figure lower, with the prominent Rybar account saying 13 Russian aircraft were damaged. Here's what to know about the stunning attacks. How Ukraine pulled it off. So how did they do this? Ukraine said Operation Spiderweb was started 18 months ago in what military experts called a remarkable feat of logistics, espionage, and military cunning. The bomb-laden drones were hidden in what Reuters reported were the roofs of wooden sheds. These sheds were loaded onto 18-wheelers and parked near military bases as deep into Russia as Siberia. The roof panels were then remotely lifted so the drones could fly out and stealthily begin their attack. Wow, that's pretty crazy. I think TJ, you said this. This reminded you of the Patriot attack with Israel, right?
Yeah, that level of ingenuity.
Absolutely. I mean, 18 months, and the United States didn't know any of this was going down. They got past Russian security and stuff like that. It is interesting to see the tactics being used in modern war. It's interesting to see drones. Drones are literally like the main avenue of war right now for weaponry. They're using them to get intel. They're using them to get kills. Like they're using them for attacks like this, sabotage. Like drones are like the main weapon right now when you think about it.
Dude, I saw a video of it was just like some dude sitting in a field and like just kind of like, knees up.
I saw that one.
And the drone just kind of like flies up and checks him out for a minute. The dude doesn't even like move or whatever. Drone backs up and then flies into him and explodes. Like,
yep,
it's pretty
you
hard.
Can't do anything. Those drones fly way faster than you're running.
Yeah, he just accepted his fate.
But that is crazy. So they managed to smuggle 117 drones as deep into Russia as they could, and then they had remotes that they could just lift. Like how do you get 117 across the border like that? I guess it's been 2 years since they started the plan, but still, that's crazy right there. Joey, do you have anything to add on this?
I have a question.
Yeah, I want Russia to win.
I heard there was something about like fiber optics with these drones or something like that. And this is the spider web, the fiber optic cable that's like, so like was it connected at the truck and then they just had a big spool of like fiber optic cable that it just had when it flew out or whatever? Like, why didn't anybody just grab the cable as it was hanging down and yank the things down so it didn't?
You want to yank the explosive towards you, TJ?
I don't know.
No, I'm joking. No, I don't know. Maybe it says it in the article. Joey, did you have anything to add before I move on?
Yeah, I want Russia to win.
I want Russia to win too.
I'm rooting for
At
Russia.
this point, honestly,
I'm available. Call me.
Tim was ranting about it today because I honestly wanted to ask a question about Ukraine and Russia, and he kind of answered my question today because he basically went on a big rant during his show talking about this story. Because he outright called Ukraine an enemy. They're an enemy to us. They're not an ally. They never have been an ally. They're not acting as one. And everything that they've done is to drag more people into war so they can get They hope to get things back like Crimea. They want territory back and more. And Tim even pointed it out. They're not attacking areas that Russia has taken. They're attacking areas that are within Russia.
Well, didn't today they hit the actual bridge that goes from Russia to Crimea or something like that?
I asked you for news, MFer.
I feel like that was one of Tim's videos. I try not to just.
I didn't see it.
Let's talk about everything Tim talked about. But
okay, that's what Sanoski's for.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think there was another attack today.
He's the Tim Synopsis.
Yes, he's the Timcast pre-show.
Tim Synopsis.
Yeah.
Timnopsis.
But yeah, so another big attack by Ukraine in dropping this big bridge.
I thought that had already happened. Hadn't that happened before? Isn't that an old story? You're talking about the bridge to Crimea?
Crimea.
I thought Tim was saying that it was today.
Maybe it happened and then they rebuilt it and it happened again.
Perhaps.
I wouldn't doubt it because there's like one main bridge and then that's part of the reason why they wanted to take territory from Ukraine is so that they could have a land bridge.
Well, I think that like yesterday, I think it was in the after show or something, we were talking about like why are they going after these bombers that aren't even being utilized? Why wouldn't they take out a railway or some
No, these planes were being used. These bombers were being used by Russia.
Okay.
Zelensky said it in a statement. He said these bombers have terrorized his country for years now.
Gotcha. All I'm trying to say is that last night during the after show, we were talking and someone was saying that like it was pointless to go for this when you should have like went for railways, which would cripple Russia's ability to like transport, and then today we see that they hit a major bridge or whatever. And I think that
I think there's a we're not military generals. I'm sure there's a strategy into what they target first. So I don't know. Let's read more of this article because there's more interesting parts I wanted to talk about. So let's see. The operation likely required recruiting Russians to assist throughout the smuggling network without alerting Moscow's sprawling spy services. It underlines how Ukraine has transformed modern warfare with its use of the drones on the battlefield, one aspect of the war that does not rely on U.S. support. Videos ricocheted across the internet after the attacks, showing explosions at air bases across Russia. Russia's defense minister said airfields were attacked in the Murmansk. Okay, I'm not reading a bunch of Russian regions of the country. New York Times said it verified a video showing 2 drones take off from containers off on the back of a semi-truck within 4 miles of a Russian military base, with smoke plumes visible in the distance. The images shown what appear to be Tu-95 strategic bombers on fire. The operation did not stop Russian and Ukrainian envoys from meeting another round of talks on Monday, in which they were set to exchange broad plans to end the war. Zelensky said documents were swapped after the talks finished and suggested a new prisoner swap was in the works. So basically, they were just trying to get a jab in real quick before these peace talks. It's ridiculous.
I feel like it's very poor timing. Like,
Yeah, but
like if the peace talks went negatively, then maybe do that as a response. But to do it preemptively, I think, is incredibly irresponsible.
No,
And
you're
then-
just setting yourself up for failure with the peace talk.
And then for Trump to have this reaction that he had with Putin, I don't know, man.
Which reaction? Did he say something else recently?
No. I'm talking about the recent stuff
just
from
the other
last weekend. It just kind of leaving a bad taste in my mouth.
Well, yeah, because you look at he's got to come out and say something about this at this point, because he can't be like, Putin, bad guy, he's not coming to the table, blah, blah, blah. And then Zelensky's over here planning a massive attack for the past 2 years with hidden drones into the country.
I think he needs to, and I think he will come out and condemn these actions strictly because it is interfering with his ability to negotiate.
I'm hoping Trump will see that like this is an attack on his ego, rather than I'm not going to mention it because it makes me look bad, like I'm being upended by the intelligence agencies of other countries. Because that's what happened during his last administration. They were just lying to him, and I don't know if he wants to admit that either, that he's being like had.
Yeah, and I feel like both Russia and Ukraine are doing things that jeopardize the peace talks. Like, Russia was striking Kiev or whatever, like right after they made plans to meet for a peace talk or something like that. And, I could see why Trump is saying, like, I don't know what happened to Putin. Like, he's always been, like, good to me or whatever. And now I see him, something happened to him and he's, like, gone crazy or something like that. Like, I could see why – I could see the actions that took place that led Trump to make that statement about him. But I also think that this is the exact same thing, but from the other side, and he needs to condemn it as well.
Sorry. I found the story you were talking about. So I was correct. The Crimean Bridge has been hit more than a few times before. The story you're talking about, I have this from, what is this, BBC. Crimea Bridge reopens after Ukraine says it carried out an underwater explosion on the bridge. And then it has a short video showing that they tried to take out some supports on the bridge using an underwater explosion. But this isn't the first time they've hit the bridge. They've been doing it throughout the war. But that is another escalation. And I know last night you rightly so pointed out that why aren't more people talking about the strikes Russia's doing into Ukraine? And I actually did. I was trying to look at it a little bit today and while we were talking. And all the stories from the past week is all about Ukraine striking Russia. Like when you scroll through a couple pages in, it's all Ukraine on Russia. So I don't know if Russia's done any major attacks recently. It doesn't seem like they have in the past week. So
that's fair.
I don't know.
I could be conflating older things with.
I know they've done some pretty bad stuff throughout the war. Both sides have, but
and a lot of the stuff is like they were actions that have been taking place at monumental moments where they shouldn't have been taking action. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. Like the eve of going to peace talks, you go and strike one of their assets for delivering nuclear arms. Like,
yeah, it's just bad timing. It's just
absolutely
it's middle finger to Trump the day before they go in for peace talks.
Okay, so we're almost done with this article. Let me read this next section. It's called Russia's Response. Joey, did you have anything to add? Or
I want Russia to win.
that's all you're adding? Okay. Russia's response.
I'm having important talks right now, so
important talks.
A little bit distracted, but
oh, how dare you, Joey? Russia's response, latest attacks. If the scale of Ukraine's attack is confirmed, Operation Spiderweb could be Ukraine's most damaging drone attack of the war. Ukraine's security service estimated the strikes dealt Russia $7 billion in damage. While experts say the operation could significantly degrade Russia's capacity to wage aerial assault on Ukraine, it is unlikely to shift Russian President Vladimir Putin's, I hate that they have the same first name, Vladimir Putin's strategy to resolve. Those involved in the attacks were withdrawn from Russia before they were carried out, Zelensky said. However, Russia's defense ministry said it had detained and undisclosed a number of participants in the terror attacks. Ukraine's Air Force said Russia launched 472 drones over Ukraine overnight Sunday in one of the largest drone attacks in the war, with explosions reported in the cities of Kharkiv and however you say that. What the hell? And strikes on at least 18 locations. Neither Putin nor the Kremlin have publicly addressed the attacks, and state media outlets made little mention of them as of Monday morning in the United States. So, I mean, drone warfare is scary, man. Like, how do you stop those little things?
So, real quick, that's another thing. Like, we have all these media articles about this drone attack from Ukraine, and then right here, there's just a small little blurb about Russia did the largest.
Yeah, where's
the largest drone attack? And so when you're saying that you can't really find any articles about recent Russian attacks, it almost seems like the Russian actions aren't being reported as frequently,
which is interesting. Maybe they just don't want to report the casualties.
I don't know motive or what have you, but I'm just saying that I think things are happening that isn't quite in the zeitgeist,
Yeah, no, I agree. And then so this was the main important part that that really adds to the story. So United States reportedly was in the dark on this attack. So President Trump was not informed ahead of the time before the drone attacks. A Trump administration official told the Hill's sister network News Nation on Sunday, if Ukraine's timeline is correct, the plan was in the works when Trump told Zelensky in February that he had no cards in negotiations to end the war. Trump had not publicly remarked on the attacks as of 11 a.m. Monday. Trump has ramped up criticism of Putin in recent days. The president last week wrote on social media that Putin had gone absolutely crazy and warned he was playing with fire with continued strikes on Ukrainian cities. Ukraine, unlike Russia, has agreed to a U.S. Proposal for an unconditional 30-day ceasefire. Kiev has also signed a framework deal with the U.S. to recoup any future spending on Ukraine's military with proceeds from natural resource extraction after the war. Trump has, at times, blamed Putin, Zelensky, and former President Biden for the war and has warned the U.S. will walk away from peace talks if there's no progress toward a deal. I hope he stays by his word on that. I know Joey can completely agree there. And to be fair, because we were talking about, I haven't seen anything. That's because 2 weeks ago, there was a massive strike on Ukraine carried out by Russia. I forget the details exactly, but that's where that comment comes from Trump, where he called them absolutely crazy. It's because they were trying to get peace talks together, and here Putin is doing massive, bombing strikes.
Right.
But then here's Ukraine also doing massive bombing strikes the day before peace talks. So it's like both you guys need to fucking quit, dude.
Yeah,
we're trying to get jabs on each other.
So, there was something in there I wanted to comment on. Go back to the article just super quick for me.
Mother.
I know.
Yeah, no, hang on. I got it.
Oh, no, I remember what I was going to say. I want to know which allies of ours knew that this strike was going to be happening.
Yeah, because it says the U.S. Why is the U.S. in the dark? Who wasn't in the dark?
Exactly. And anyone who knew about this and didn't let the U.S. know about it, I would no longer consider an ally.
And that's what Joey and I were talking.
Sorry, it's not just Ukraine that is.
Yeah.
That it's cute. Anyway, yeah, continue.
No, sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off. It's your mic, man. I'm telling you, you need a better mic.
All right, in due time.
I'm not. Look, when I get this Rumble paycheck, I'll give you.
Hey, when I get the Rumble money, dog.
I get you your dividends. Did you get your Rumble money, Joey?
Hey, Robert, I'll pay you back. There's no way for me to get my FEMA check, Robert.
Did you
Once
get paid
this
yet,
number
Joey?
hits, I'm gonna be Oprah rich.
Robert, I'll pay you back when I get my FEMA check.
Joey's not answering me.
Yep. He's hiding
What?
it.
Joey,
What?
did you get paid by Rumble yet? That's what I said.
No.
Okay, I haven't either. That's what I was asking. Okay, anyway.
Don't worry, Robert. I'll pay you back when I get my FEMA check.
Were you listening to the end of this article, Joey?
A little bit.
Oh my God.
I heard you say me and Joey have said this the whole time, and probably about United States allying with Russia instead of and
No, talking about
last sentence.
Donald Trump needs to walk away if peace
yes.
talks, if there's no
Yeah.
progress towards a deal.
Oh yeah, he should do that, but he's clearly not doing that. I think he's realizing he doesn't have the leverage he thinks he does.
Well, and then it mentions the comment that you brought up earlier where he called Putin absolutely crazy in response to the strikes that he was doing.
Yeah, that really showed his hand that he's actually going to side with Ukraine, which is very disappointing. Extremely disappointing.
Dude,
What if his statement's been on the attack so far with this? Has he even released a statement on the drone attack?
Nope,
from
Mr.
Ukraine?
Trump is quiet all of a sudden. Maybe this president thinks harder than he thought.
I think in the next day or so he's gonna have to come out and
Maybe.
But you know, I don't think that it's wrong for Trump to say that Putin has gone crazy. Like, he's talking shit about both of them because they're both, you know, escalating this war more and more. You can, just because you talk shit about one side doesn't mean that you support the other side. Like, it's like when he was in that interview and they were saying, sorry, it looked like everything was frozen. You guys were both perfectly still.
No, sorry, I'm reading.
You're good. It's like when he was in that interview and that gal was like, you remember that you're a very nasty woman, you know that.
Yes,
interview?
you're a nasty
and
woman.
She was like, can you not say that you want Ukraine to win the war? And that's when he dropped the line, I want people to stop dying. You know, like, he wasn't taking a side then, and he's not taking a side now. He's just calling out the evil actions.
I don't know. He called out Putin for being absolutely crazy for the strikes on Ukraine, but he's not calling out Ukraine for strikes on Russian nuclear delivery equipment.
When's the last time we heard Trump speaking about something? Did he do a speech yesterday or anything? Or...
He's constant, dude. I just scrolled through his Truth Social. He tweets every like 30 minutes.
Sure. He could have said something.
Truths. He truths every 30 minutes.
He truths every 20, 30 minutes. So I just scrolled through all of his truths, and he's talking about all kinds of stuff. He's talking about the Joe Biden auto pen, which I'm sure a lot of people will talk about today. I didn't talk about it today, but I know a lot of people will be.
That's nothing, Burger. That's a distraction. They're not going to be able to do anything with that. Donald Trump has used the auto pen in the past. They're not going to be able to do anything with that.
You're probably right, but I want them to be able to do
DOJ's
something.
I want them to, but they're not. Listen, they won't even release the names of the Epstein stuff. Like, they clearly, we got to accept that this is not going to be the cataclysmic change. I got to stop using that word. This is not going to be the monumental change, drain the swamp that everybody thinks it's going to be. It's just more of the same. It's the lesser of two evils now. That's what we've become. And it's fine. We chose correct on the lesser of two evils, but it sucks that we're not going to be able to take the sledgehammer to the system that we need to do.
If you're right, then the country's already fallen.
It has already fallen. I'm trying to say this. That's why I'm asking what the line is, because I feel like the line has been crossed. Once they started confiscating people's gold in the 70s, I think that was the line crossing, honestly.
That is pretty wild.
Crazy.
You would let someone take your precious metal like that.
No, that was because they went up the gold standard, so they didn't want people to have gold. What are you doing?
Joe is on one.
His cat. It's his
Yeah.
cat.
My
Anyway,
dog's
let's talk about this story, and then I have one more story when Joey leaves, because I know he's not going to be able to talk about it. So we'll talk about it as we lead into Joey's
All
show.
this cat wants to do is eat.
So I just find it interesting. So we have this huge eruption on Italy's Mount Etna, leaves tourists fleeing volcano. Massive volcano plume. You know, this is volcanoes erupting like this cause more climate change than humans can do in the next like 50 to 100 years. So it's just interesting that Greta Thunberg is on her way to Gaza right now when this is going on in Italy.
Turn the boat around. She's got to come back and fight this.
Turn it around. Wait, didn't she just leave Italy? Didn't she sail from Italy?
It's her fault then, isn't it?
Wait, I'm just thinking about that. I'm pretty sure if I'm
walked out.
Dude, she left, and all of a sudden there's this climate change going on. It's not a coincidence. It can't be. There's no way. See, I want Joey's thoughts on this, but he's gonna have to. As soon as he comes back, he's like, "I'm gonna leave to do my show." It seems like his cat's being a little terrorist today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring this up real quick because I mean, this is always pretty terrifying. I don't want volcanoes erupting near me. I don't know about you guys.
I mean, we're due for the big one in Yellowstone, right?
I'm in California. We're due for the big quake. Half of California is supposed to fall into the ocean, so I'm just waiting for it.
Yeah. Well, it's probably for the good of the country, but
I'll accept it if California loses half of California, then I think the East Coast needs to gain whatever California lost. Like you guys get hit whatever we lost.
I got him.
That's fair, right?
I won the war.
So Joey, what do you think about Greta Thunberg fleeing from Italy and going to Gaza, and then immediately after her departure, this mountain erupts and causes all this climate change? How do you feel about this?
How dare you, mountain? How dare you? The mountain was just afraid of her and erupted when she wasn't there.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, she sailed from Italy, right? That's where she started her journey.
I'm not sure on that. You're saying it definitively. I'll believe you.
Pretty sure. I can look it up. Greta sails from Italy. Hang on. Let's confirm this. Joey, you got to go get your show started, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's full. Get out of here. Bye, Joey. Join him on Outworld.
Yes, joining me there, I guess.
So, did you see the video? See you, Joey. Did you see the video of all of the people like fleeing as it was erupting?
No.
God, maybe it's close.
Yep, she did. She set sail from Sicilian port of Catania from Italy. So she sailed from Italy 2 days ago, and now this mountain's erupting. It's just interesting.
I think it's her fault.
That's an interesting coincidence. I blame Greta for the mountain erupting.
Yeah, she should have been staying there to keep it from erupting.
If she was continuing to protest climate change from Italy, maybe this mountain wouldn't have erupted. It's absolutely her fault. The blood is on her hands, guys. It absolutely is.
Correlation.
Oh, here's the video that you were just talking about, CJ. It says it's titled "People Running."
Okay.
Waiting for the people running to safety. Hello. We have one more story that I want to talk about.
This
Were they on the mountain?
Tout le monde est en panique.
God
tout le monde
damn,
descend. Ah, truc de ouf là.
video's getting crazy.
Largest magnitude since 2014. Huh. So largest eruptions in 11 years.
All of these clips are like less than 8 seconds, so I'm wondering if that's all AI generated and if the mountain actually erupted at all.
It's all fake, yeah. There was actually no mountain. The mountain doesn't exist.
There is no spoon. Oh, but you don't get that reference because you've never seen The Matrix.
You gotta wrap me out like that. Damn.
Hey, I gotta put some pressure on you.
Whoa.
Now that the community knows, you got some homework to do.
That's crazy. You gotta out me like that. You don't get first chair. No.
Oh.
Taken from you. Okay, last story before we head out to Joey. So Joey better be ready by the time we're done talking about this. How do you feel about this? FBI calls for public tips on children hurt in gender-affirming surgeries. Help the FBI protect children, the Post declared.
Wow.
So they're targeting doctors that are mutilating kids over this gender ideology stuff. How do you feel about that? Because I, for one, am all for it.
Yeah. I definitely support it. I'm wondering what legal standing there is that can be used.
It's Trump's executive order.
Which states?
So the FBI is urging members of the public to tip them off about any facilities or individuals who mutilate children with surgeries under the guise of gender-affirming care. The federal law enforcement agency shared the message Monday on social media. Help the FBI protect children. As the Attorney General has made clear, we will protect our children and hold accountable those who mutilate them under the guise of gender-affirming care. Report tips of any hospitals, clinics, or practitioners performing these procedures on children at 1-800-CALL-FBI or tips.fbi.gov.
Wow.
Chloe Cole responded to the FBI's post on X by noting, "I'm a detransitioner, and I've spoken personally with hundreds of others that have been seriously injured by the practice. We want to see this burnt to the ground." President Donald Trump issued an executive order earlier this year titled "Protecting Children from Chemical and Surgical Mutilation." So I do believe I did speak about that, and it does prevent minors from receiving a lot of these transition treatments.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I guess if they're going after the doctors and physicians and whatnot, it could be medical malpractice and child abuse, perhaps.
Absolutely, yeah.
That
Medical
could
malpractice in the least, because these doctors should know better, right? They should know better than to do this to children. But
I wonder first and foremost, this is the right thing to do. Like, morally, it's the right thing to do. But secondly, I wonder what the backlash from the left is going to be about this. Like, how heated are they going to get with it? Because, oh, Trump wants to remove your access to health care. You know, it's the abortion argument all over again.
I mean, they've already been making that argument, right?
Well, they've been making the assertion that he wants to, but this is a step toward taking action for it. And so,
I mean, this is a losing issue for the Democrats. Tim talked about it on his show earlier today. Democrats are at 19% approval. Right. I mean, the Republicans aren't doing much better at 40, but still, that 19 is crazy. That's crazy low.
So the majority of the country just thinks the entire government is shit.
I mean, that's been like that for a while. I think approval ratings for Congress are 80% disapproval. So
right,
and which, I mean, you just look at everything they vote on. Look at this omnibus they're about to shove through, which I'll probably talk about that more tomorrow. I didn't do enough research into that, so I'm not going to speak on it too much. No so going back into this article, because it's not much left to read, so let me just read it and we'll share our thoughts and move on to Joey's show.
Sure.
So the order noted in part that it is the policy of the United States that it will not fund, sponsor, promote, assist, or support the so-called transition of children from one sex to another, and it will rigorously enforce all laws that prohibit or limit these destructive and life-altering procedures. In an April memo, Attorney General Pam Bondi noted that the Department of Justice will not sit idly by while doctors motivated by ideology, profits, or both exploit and mutilate our children. Under my watch, the department will act decisively to protect our children and hold accountable those who mutilate them under the guise of care. In a statement provided to Fox News Digital on Tuesday morning, a Justice Department spokesperson noted, as Attorney General Bondi has made clear, this Department of Justice will use every legal and law enforcement tool available to protect innocent children from being mutilated under the guise of care. So they're using the executive order that Donald Trump basically put out to reaffirm the laws that we already have on the books to protect children and women from the gender ideology stuff. So cool. I'm all for the government cracking down on laws that we have on the books. I'm all for that. Protect the children, protect them from this gender ideology shit. I still want the Epstein files, though. So Pam Bondi, let's see them.
Yep.
I'm going to keep bringing it up. Every time Pam Bondi and Kash Patel get brought up, that's the first thing I'm going to say. At the end of it, I'm going to be like, that's great. You're doing good. Awesome. Where's the Epstein files?
Yeah, it's the exclamation point at the end of the paragraph.
Yeah, where's the Epstein files, though?
Yeah, no, I think this is all good things. Yes, this is what I voted for, right?
This is what I voted for, but where's the Epstein files?
There it is.
All right, final thoughts on the story before we move over. Let me get Joey's show going while you give your final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean that kind of was my final thoughts. I was arguing with someone in the Discord a while ago, and my argument was that the law matters, and that we are going to start seeing accountability. And I know you guys are a little black-pilled and don't think that we're going to see accountability, but you know, this is one step in the right direction for accountability because the law matters.
I want to be proven wrong, TJ. I really want to be proven wrong.
I hope you are.
I hope I am too. But anyway, let's give you first chair. Tell us where to find you. Whatever you want to say.
Yep.
All your good stuff. Oh, that I didn't do it. I didn't do bad Stark. I didn't do bad Stark.
Son of a bitch.
I got it away quick.
There it is. Well, I'm not on YouTube and Rumble.
I am, and you're on my show, so.
I got you. All right. Follow me on X, and let's yell Leftist together. It's been a fun couple of days. I'll see you guys next week, and yeah, it's good hanging out. Take care, everybody.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you, TJ, very much for being on. And of course, follow, subscribe on YouTube and Rumble, guys. I appreciate everyone that I always have as guests. It's always great to have TJ on at the start of the week. Always great to have Joey on when he actually pays attention. But he'll be paying attention on his show, so don't worry about that. You guys are going over there right now. And Mad Stork, always a pleasure. Always brings a lot of knowledge to the table, and great to have him on to talk about whatever's going on. Thank you guys so much. If you didn't check out my stream earlier, that stream was really fun. I got trending on the Rumble page, and got some followers and stuff out of it. It was really cool. So that was a lot of fun. Maybe I'll do it again tonight if I'm not too tired, but we'll see. I'm gonna go make some food. So you guys go check out Outworld Live and go check out the Quiet Part Pod. And you guys will see me later today or perhaps tomorrow. Anyway, thank you guys. Peace out. Let's get that outro going. Goodbye. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the video today. If you thought that was a great video, great live stream, great whatever you were watching, make sure you hit that like, thumbs up, whatever you're watching, hit that follow, subscribe, and if you really want to support me, you could always share the video and comment down below. But thank you guys so much. Make sure you follow on Rumble, YouTube, and X. Thank you, and peace out.